I get on there, that's the thing where you stand in the big circle and you're plastered up against the wall, and I'm going, we start spinning, I'm like, turn it off, and my friends are going, turn it off. No, he didn't stop, of course. I get out, he opens the door, he's standing right there, I go, all over. My dad had an airplane. Every time we went up, I threw up, but I still had to keep going up in that doggone airplane. Every single time. Messed up vestibular system right here. Okay, so here's somebody, I like this representation, here's somebody who's all together. I don't know, that's my husband's interpretation of, that's somebody that's all together sensory-wise. So, sensory integration, the neurological process that organizes sensations from one own body and from the environment. So, you're not only integrating the lights, the noise of that thing, that's kind of getting on my nerves. I'm hot. You know, I'm always out in what I call the menopause trailer. So it's always really cold out there, so I dress for it, but then I'm in here and... Okay. Visual system. Of course, that's the one that lets us see. You know, we always go, we have 5 senses. No, you really don't. You have 7. And you've heard me mention a couple. Auditory system lets us hear. Very simple. Taste. I love that one. That's how we taste things. We also, the sense of smell and the sense of taste work closely together. Olfactory is smell. That looks delicious. Tactile. Those are the kids that don't want to get their hands dirty. The kids, and you guys probably see these, and when we see it in boys, we think, ah, they're wusses. They're a wuss. Mama's boy. Not necessarily.
Or they won't touch a frozen pizza roll. But they'll touch a cooked pizza roll.
Wow. I bet, wow.
Yeah.
Those are your kids usually that have eating problems too. I've had a kid that would only eat things that were round and brown because round things were good things for him and brown things. This was a kid with a lot of autism. Or my son who ate every kind of food when he was a baby, but once it got texture, no. Mm-mm. So those are your tactile kids. Vestibular, that's my favorite. I have to do things with pictures. When I have to relate a picture to things so I understand it better. So this is the vestibular system in my world. And it's that little thing that that says, okay, my body's level, okay? That's the thing that it goes, oh, I'm falling, put my hands out. Or, ooh, I'm dizzy. That's, ooh. See, I cannot handle that anymore. This is the system that a lot of kids have problems with. These are the kids that you'll have kids that are under-responsive or over-responsive to vestibular information. So, all right. And this was mine so you could see that. See? I want to keep it level. I'm one of those little kids that nobody in here, has a kid that doesn't like to go down the stairs. Is it a vestibular problem? Is it a motor planning problem? Is it a strength problem? I'm not sure. When she goes down the stairs, she clings to the wall and she steps down. What is it? So there's that kid that wants to keep that maybe like this. She doesn't want to get it moving. She needs to keep it level. Or else she feels unsafe. Has anybody, gone to the Grand Canyon and looked over? Do you feel nervous? Imagine if you felt that nervousness going down steps or getting up on the playground equipment. And then you have your proprioceptive system. I like this one. Because this one, okay, come here. This one tells you where your body is in space, okay, by the information it gets from your joints and your muscles and your tendons and your ligaments. So this is how I imagine proprioceptive input. We'll just stop there. Well,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Jump up and down. So what she get? Is she getting input? All these little white tags are going off because she's turned this way towards the. All these little white tags are going off. They're saying, I'm jumping. My arms are down. My legs are down. My feet are moving me up and down. Okay, thank you. So that's your proprioceptive system. All these are really important, especially for teachers, because these are the things, not only do you have to teach them, and you have to make sure they know manners, you have to make sure their face is clean, and they don't have boogers hanging out of their nose, and they're not pooping in their pants, you also have to be aware of these systems if you want to help the kids more. This is my favorite. This is the one we deal with all the time, don't we? But the parents don't want to medicate their children. They don't believe in medication. I did that for a very long time, and I regret that. And I didn't put my kid on medication until 9th grade, and I really regret that. That was a wrong decision because now his self-esteem is terrible, but he's extremely brilliant. Okay, and that goes through everything with ADHD. These people need excessive activity as self-stimulation because their state is abnormally low of arousal. Everybody thinks they're really hyper. No, it's very low. Their arousal state is low, and that's why when we give them Ritalin, Mountain Dew, whatever, it appears to calm them down. Where it actually takes that system and winds it up so they feel they can better pay attention when they get whatever they need. So these kids, they cannot moderate their arousal state, so they're going to do it themselves. They're going to do it themselves no matter what. No matter how many times you yell at them, no matter how many times you take $1, no matter what you do, they have to. If we look at it as a blessing, they're trying to pay attention. But they have to do these things to pay attention. I know, you're looking at me like, yeah. And some kids are stinkers, but if you got the kid who's tapping, who's chewing and eating their pencil, there's a child here that is eating holes in their shirt. Is that a bad kid? No, that's a kid that needs input. So how can we give it to them right? How can we give it to them in another way that's not so disruptive to your class and kind of gross? You know, it's kind of gross when they're chewing. I mean, I've got kids that looks like a little badger and they're gum. My friend here is pointing out, gum is a great way for those kids who are chewing a lot. I'll go ahead and go through it while we're here. Gum, a chewy tube, although when they're older you don't want to give them this kind of stuff. You take Starburst and you freeze them. And then you give it to them. My favorite with my son was always to go to Wendy's, you know, and you get a Frosty. And then I say, can I have a straw? And they're like, oh, ma'am, you don't need a straw. That's a Frosty. It's very thick. I'm like, give me a straw. So I give it to him, and he'd be like, Mom, that's really hard. I'm like, keep doing it, buddy. Well, you know, you have peace driving up to St. Louis. It's peace and quiet in the car for once. But he also needed, if he's not talking, he's humming. If he, you know, he's always doing something to get himself in that state of arousal. So Frosty works very, very well. There's a little plug for Wendy's. So, and so all this explains why we give them a stimulant medication, and they're better able to pay attention. So. Okay, these are some people with ADHD, successful people. And then this is my husband's interpretation of ADHD. Mm-hmm. God bless him. Mm-hmm. I have it, my husband has it. So it's kind of fun sometimes at my house trying to get everything accomplished. Okay, my sensory system. Somebody who has an impaired tactile, touch system. If I say tactile, it makes me feel smarter. So, if they're undersensitive. This was my daughter. My daughter comes in from outside. She has a gash. We're sitting there talking, and she lifts her arm up, and there's a gash down her arm with blood dripping from it. She had no idea. None whatsoever. Blood. I'm like, what happened? She goes, I don't know. I'm like, ah. And then you have Dylan on the other side who every little thing, Mom, I got a cut. And I'm going, really? There's a cut there? Okay, we'll put a Band-Aid on it. So you've got the two extremes in my household, which was fun. But hyposensitivity, these are the kids that are filthy. They're always in, you know, any kind of substance out on the playground. These are the kids that are always seeking tactile input. The ones walking down the hallway touching the wall. Are they doing that because they're bad? Or are they